All right, so hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com. Welcome you to another video on SEO. First of all, we're brand new to this channel. Make sure you press the subscribe button down below so when I release a new SEO video like this, you get notified. So in today's video, I'd like to discuss with you a case studies of how I helped this e-commerce store triple his sales and traffic in 3 months. So this client is a part of my SEO coaching programs, and we've been doing about roughly about 8 sessions together over a course of 2.5 to 3 months. So let me give you some of the results that we got from this campaign. So first, the client was able to recover from a Google product review update in December 2021. So client made full recovery from Google product review update that his site was got hit. After that, we also started seeing a whole lot of improvements, like 100% plus increase in clicks from Google. So the client was able to generate more than 100% increase in the clicks from Google search results, as well as 50% more sales in revenue. So the client doesn't have any information type contents or blog contents. He only has category pages as and product pages. So mainly his website only has commercial pages. So a 50% increase in his sales revenues come directly from all the clicks, right? So essentially, any increase in the clicks will result in mostly, in the sales that he got as well, right? So here's a case studies that I wrote on my blogs. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out. So let me show you some of the results screenshots here. So this is the Google Search Console stats comparing, the previous 3 months with the current 3 months. As you can see, this is about 103.75% in clicks to commercial pages only. Like I said, the client doesn't have any information or blog content, so all the clicks and traffic that he was getting are all to the product as well as product category pages. This blog post I wrote like about almost 2 weeks ago, and I think so, like roughly on June 6th. So today is about 11. So right about five days ago, I wrote this content, and the numbers has already increased even more now. So it's roughly about 110% already increase in clicks. This is the Google Analytics stats. So taking over course of our compared with the previous sessions. As you can see, this he has got about 41.62% increase in his revenue. The numbers right now, currently as of recording this video, is already much higher, roughly about 50% now, as you can see, and also increased like 79.73% increase in users as well. And this is compared to the previous sessions where his site prior to the December update and during the time that we started this coaching program together. And this is the stats from SEMrush traffic graphs. As you can see, this is when he started coaching with me, and this is when he skyrocketed his website. Right now, the graph is even a little bit higher as well as of today that I checked. And this some of the SEMrush top keywords, organic keywords. You can see some of these rankings are pretty impressive. Like for instance, this one, this keyword has 6,600 searches per month, and he's already like number 5 on this on Google. In actual results, he's already like number 4 now. This is taking a little bit late, right, to update the results. And lastly, this is his testimonial. He has recorded in the audio file, so you can go ahead and listen to it as well. And so let me give you a little bit of background of the project as well as the campaign's objective, and also along the way I'll also teach you like what you should be doing and stuff. So hopefully you can get something from this case studies, right? So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so a little bit of project background here. The client runs an e-commerce store built with Shopify in the apparel space. So the client's website is based on Shopify, and he's in this apparel and clothing space, which is a very competitive space, as the niche is dominated by big players like Amazon's, Macy's, etc., etc. So as you can see, if I do a search for men's summer shirts, obviously this is not the keyword that the client wants to rank for. I'm not going to reveal the website due to the privacy that he requested me for. So this is just for sake of example, but this gives pretty much the same results as what the clients would see as well for his keywords. So he targets mainly the US search results. So all the SERP features you're seeing here is going to be the same in US as well, but it's going to be different in other areas. Just keep that in mind. So when you do a search for this keyword, you can see here that on the top results there's Amazon. Always Amazon is ranking pretty much for all the e-commerce keywords, right? Number one. And there's like Macy's here, right? All these men's journal, these are all authoritative, high quality authority website. And besides that, there are also these Google's features, right? SERP features such as popular products carousel here, and then all these images, right? And some of these as well. So as you can see here, the main challenge here that we face here is number one, the client runs a Shopify platform, so there's very limited things that we can do with SEO as far as technical aspects is concerned. And secondly, the niche is very competitive. It is dominated by big players like Amazon, Macy's, all these, as well as Google's itself, right? So we're not just competing with all these big brands, but we're also competing with Google as well. As you can see, like Google is also getting a lot of traffic from these SERP features, right? That they've been putting about over past few years, especially for e-commerce queries, right? So these are some of the main challenges that we face. And the client runs Shopify platform here, and as I said, he only contains commercial pages, means only product and category pages, no information pages at all. So any improvement into the traffic that we got for the website to the site results in direct increase in sales. So let's say the client was able to increase like 100 more clicks, then out of those 100, probably about 70% would convert into into customers or into sales, because the conversion rate is pretty high when it comes to Google organic leads, right? And also, a little bit of background on that. The site have been stagnant for a while in terms of ranking overall organic traffic performance. So over the past, few years, the site has been stagnant for a while. It even got hit in a Google product review update in December 2021 as well, right? And the client brand is pretty well known. He has a pretty good brand name in his niche. So he's not really like for all the e-commerce clothing keywords, but he's in a in a small, not really small, but to some extent in his own space. He's quite well known for his brand. And prior to this, he also had hired an SEO agency to work on his website as well, which he couldn't get results. So overall, we had like about 8 coaching sessions over a period of 2 to 2.5 months. The like towards the end of towards the third month, we were having mostly email. We were in contact in using email. So mostly, as the client was busy with his summer sales and everything, right? So roughly about 2.5 months, you could say that. I'll leave a link in the description below as well, so you can check out my SEO coaching program. But roughly overall, we had only like 8 coaching sessions together. And so yeah, so without further ado, let me also now start with what we did to the campaign, right? What we did. So mostly we focus on 2 things, that is on page and technical. As mostly, like I said, the client already have quite a good brand name there. Although his backlinks profile are not that great, like not that powerful compared to the competitors, but to be honest, we don't really need backlinks in this case as much as we require in the past. Like a couple of years ago, backlinks would be a major deal, but there are many other off-page signals that you can use to supplement for it. So I know from my experience, from my knowledge, that the client doesn't need that much of backlinks. Although we also focus a little bit on backlinks later on towards the end of a campaign as well, just to help push up some of the important pages, right? But mostly we were focusing on page and technical. So when it comes to on page, we did mostly 2 things. So number one here is we re-optimize old content, and we created some new pages for some of the keywords. So so after going through a couple of sessions with a client, I got a good understanding of his business goals and everything. So I gave him some suggestion on some of the new keywords that he could be targeting that could benefit his business overall as well. So but mostly our aim here was to focus on re-optimizing old pages. So for keywords that are ranking around page 2 to page 3, we were getting them up to page 1, right? And for new keywords, we were able to get them up to page 1 pretty quickly as well. And so let me guide you through some overview of the different strategies that we implement when it comes to on page. So if you're running an e-commerce store and you want to improve your e-commerce SEO, I think one of the main area that you want to focus on here is to re-optimize your old content, right? So make sure you visit some of your old content and start re-optimizing them. So without so okay, let's get in a bit deeper into on-page SEO for e-commerce. So here I took this as an example here. So this page is ranking for keyword men's summer shirts. Obviously, I can't review the website. So this is a great example that I can show you. It's also based on Shopify as well. As you can see, there's a collection here. When it comes to my client, his main pages were category pages. So first of all, when you do any e-commerce SEO, you need to understand what is the intent behind each keyword, right? So when, let's say, you want to target men's summer shirts, what is the intent behind this keyword when someone does a search for it? Are they looking for blog posts? Are they looking for reviews? Or are they looking for e-commerce type pages? Now let's say most of them are going to be looking for e-commerce type pages. And how do we know that? Well, we look at the search, right? With the SERP here, we can see like most of the obviously we have like these are affiliate type review content, but some of them are I think most of them are pretty much e-commerce type pages here, right? So you can, if you're running e-commerce SEO, obviously you're going to try to only rank for your product pages, right, mostly, but you could also rank for your information type content as well. But let's say you identify that it is an e-commerce type pages. Now you have to see that, okay, if it is an e-commerce type pages, what type of pages is Google preferring? Is it like more towards category pages, or is it more towards product pages? So in my client's case, most of his keywords are more towards category pages, so we were focusing on category pages here. So that's why I'm gonna teach you how to optimize for the category pages first. So first, any category pages, we would try to keep it simple, straightforward, and to the intent. So when someone wants a category pages based on the intent research, what he's looking for, he's looking for a catalog of products, right? So your first goal is to try to have as many products as possible on the category page. So this is the first step to any e-commerce SEO on page category page optimization. So you would try to add as many products as possible to your category pages, right? Because as a users, we want to see many options that we want to buy, right? And then after that, you would also don't want to forget all the basic optimizations. So I have done a great deal on on the e-commerce SEO on page tutorial. I'll leave a link in the description. It is also leading to one of my previous case study as well, so make sure you watch that out. But on an overview, you would do a basic title optimization here, as well as the H1 optimizations. When it comes to the nuance of how you would optimize it correctly, you could still apply basic SEO knowledge to optimizing your H1 and your title tags. But there are a little bit of more tricks and more things that you can do to really squeeze the most out of your H1 and title as well, which I'm not obviously going to review in this video, as it's part of my secret here. So if you want to learn more, obviously you can check out my SEO coaching program. We can schedule a quick call on that, but mostly you can, but what I can give you here is be specific with your titles H1, right? All these important keyword places like H1, H2, titles, URL have to be specific. Don't try to include all the fluffs. Make it very straightforward and to the point, right? So it has to contain your main keywords, obviously, and don't try to add things like like check this out now, something like that. All these fluff words that will dilute the keyword power of the title or H1, right? And after that, right below your H1, you would also start having your SEO optimized content. As you can see, this side also have it here, and they also have it at the bottom here as well. So what I can give you on this point here is it's better to have them on the top, but don't try to add them too much that it it ruins the user experience, right? Like if someone comes and see like a whole chunk of optimized content on the top, this really push down all the products at the bottom. This ruins everything. It ruins number one, the user experience, and number two, it ruins Google's ability to understand what is the intent of this page. It is you should add some SEO optimized content, but not too much. Only add to some extent. On the top whatever is on the top is more important, and when you go to the bottom, you can obviously add a bit more to this as well. I would consider this a very good example. They don't have like a lot of them, they just have enough of them to contain some of the keywords, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to e-commerce SEO on page for the category page. You have to keep it simple, straightforward, and to the point. Don't try to stuff in a lot of keywords here and there. Your main goal is to have as many product pages as much as possible. So focus on that. Focus on the intent. All right. So let's say you've done with the category pages. Some of my clients pages that he want to rank for some of the product as well. So let's look at the product optimization, product page optimization. Now this is a standard e-commerce template. So on the left you would always see the gallery of the images. On the right you will see like some of the product descriptions, and towards the bottom sometimes you might see more long description of the product, and then there's a other product relevant products. So again, when you optimize for your product page, you don't want to forget your H1, your title here as well, if you're trying to rank for your products, right? Like not every e-commerce store will try to rank for all the products. Like for instance, this one, I'm pretty sure they're not trying to rank for anything. It's just a product on their website. So they're not really optimizing it a lot using all the keywords and everything. But if your product, after you look at the intent, you have to rank for a product page, then you would try to optimize it really well. Again, whatever on the top is more important. So have all the H1 here, stuff in all the keywords, optimize very good. When I say stuff in it, I'm not saying keyword stuffing, but I'm saying writing using all the semantically relevant words, right? All the important keywords that you would add to the content. Optimize the title tags. Again, be very specific. Don't add all the fluffs. And if possible, you might also add some internal links to other relevant product pages as well, but it's not required, right? So this would be all the on page re-optimize all content created news. So the step here would be to identify the intent. So is it like product category, or is it like product page? And then next, create the page to meet the intent. And then third is complete basic optimization, right? So all the H1 title, H2, etc., all this, right? So when it comes to on page for SEO, on page SEO for e-commerce store, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to add anything there. Like I said, there could be a little bit of nuance where you can do a little bit of here and there to squeeze more of your on page juice, but that is a little bit to the secret part, right? Next part on that, so this is on the content side, right? So what I also did with the client here, we also worked a little bit on the site structure as well. As I said, the site structure wasn't clear, so we redesigned the entire navigation menu to make it more easy to navigate. So when on your e-commerce, you would have a bunch of these categories and stuff. So let's say if I were to draw the menu here, this would be your home page. This would be all your your main category. You could have some subcategories pages here, right? So whenever you do an internal links menu structure for e-commerce SEO, you try to make sure all the important menus are easily reachable, right? Easily reachable from the home page, at least in the menu navigations. Like the more it is easily reachable, the easier Google is going to crawl and understand the entire structure, right? So using things like this type of structure is really good. Like you can see, it links out to all the subcategories under each main categories. This makes it very easier for the user to navigate around the website as well as Google bots, right? Again, this applies to both Shopify and WooCommerce, or even any type of platform. So SEO for e-commerce is, it's a universal concept, right? You can apply to all types of platforms, whether it's Shopify, WooCommerce, or Magento. It's just the way of understanding the concept. All right. So this is pretty much it. What we focus on, re-optimize the old content and create some of the new pages for some of the keywords. And when it comes to content, we look at these things, and then internal links or site structure, I would call it, make it easier to navigate. This would be my number one priority here, right? So remember, so when you organize your website structure, I would advise you to create a proper map of your website and assign. So this is your homepage. What are some of the primary categories for your products, right? What are some of the subcategories for your product? And then you put them in the navigation menu. You may also have them in a footer as well. So in that way, all the important link juice flows right to every important pages. So like you don't want let's say you want to rank for casual shirts as your as one of product category page, but it's nowhere to be found on the navigation menu, or it's nowhere to be found anywhere, right, on the website. Now that is a problem, because if, let's say, this is the page you want to rank for, and it's not easily reachable from any menu structure, any navigational structure, then Google will find it a hard time to understand, like, is it a really important page here, right? Like, if it's not linked in the menu, it's not easily navigational, we call this as an orphan page that doesn't have internal links pointing to it, right? So keep that in mind. So make sure whatever you want to rank for is easily reachable from the navigational menu. All right. So next part, which we also focus on here, is technical aspects of the website. So the website runs on Shopify, which has quite a terrible structure for SEO, right? When it comes to e-commerce SEO. So mainly what we did with the technical side here is, so we did a couple of these things. First, we removed duplicate pages by canonicalizing and deleting tag pages, URL parameters, and pagination pages. So first, one of the biggest things that we found on the website here is there were multiple tag pages created, right? And this, I think, is part of Shopify. Most of the themes are like that on Shopify, where when you add tag pages, they create duplicate pages, right? So what we can do here is you can go to google.com. First, you have to identify, right, if there's any duplicate pages. So you can go to google.com and type in site, and then colon double this symbol, and then followed by your domain name, right? And then followed by domain name, and then see, if there are any, like, pages that are like, so you can do here is you can put it in a double quote here and type tags. Then you can see, is there any like tag pages rankings? Are there any like duplicate pages that pretty much give the same results but on a different URL, right? So if that's the case, then what you would do here is you would either delete them or canonicalize them. So if you can't delete them for some reason, like if you want to still keep them, or if you delete them it will mess up the entire website, second option is to canonicalize them. So canonicalization means, so let's say if I look at this, if I view source for this page, so let's look at the source code of this page, right? So we'll see that this site also use canonicalization here. So as you can see, canonical collections. So what it means here is any URL that comes because you have to understand, like, e-commerce have all these like if I click on this, let's say this filter, it changed the URL to this, right? You can see if I copy everything here and I go to this and I type it here, you can see it is like domain.com/collections/men's top, and then question mark, all these long type URL. And you may also have like maybe like tag and then slash men's tops, right? So you have all these garbage pages or unnecessary pages that that you're not intended to rank for. The problem here is if you have too many of these type of unnecessary pages in the index, Google can look at your site and can view your site as being low quality, right? So what you want to do here is you want to canonicalize, means you want to tell to Google that this is a preferred versions, right? So this is a preferred versions. So let's say when Googlebot calls and crawl the page and see that this is the URL of this page, but then it can understand that, okay, since this page canonicalized to itself, it means that all the URLs, whatever URL comes right after this, is gonna get canonicalized or gonna get like combined into one URL. So you're essentially saying to Google that this is my main URL, and whatever comes with this are like will be combined along with this, right? So this is essentially how we use canonicalizations, is to prevent duplicate pages and unnecessary pages that normally comes with Shopify or some of the unoptimized SEO like unoptimized e-commerce platforms, right? So make sure you utilize all these. So let's say if there's any like paginations, right? So paginations are mostly gonna be something like men. So the domain.com/collections/men tops /page equal to 2, right? As you can see, page equal to 3. So this is how the paginations look like, I think mostly for Shopify and any other e-commerce platforms. So what you do here is you want to tell the Google to canonicalize only to this URL, which means that all these extra things will be kind of like canonicalized or combined into, saying to Google that all the extra stuff, I mean only like to combine to this page. So this way it's not gonna have duplications, right? Like as you can see, like if I change on this, everything remains the same. It's the same product category pages, but just change in the URL, right? So you're essentially creating multiple copies. So don't do that. Instead, use the canonicalizations, canonical tags to do the job here, right? So this is how you do it. Link rel equal to canonical, href equal to the URL which you want to be the main URL, right? When Googlebot crawls the page. Most of the platforms nowadays comes with this option out of the box. If you're using WooCommerce, this is pretty much, you don't have to do anything with it. If you're doing Shopify, some of the themes already come with it. If not, then you might have to add some custom code to it. You can do a quick search on Google on things like Shopify tag canonical tag code, something like that, and then there will be a bunch of guides or how to fix duplicate content issues right on Shopify. So you can copy and paste their source their code and you put it into your theme there, and it will just work wonders, right? So any of these, like it's one of the biggest problem with Shopify is creating multiple of these duplicate pages, right? So make sure you don't do that. After that, we also do some merging, right? So when we analyzed the URLs that are ranking in the Google Search Console, we saw that there were pages that were competing with each other, or essentially here they're cannibalizing with each other. Means, let's say there are pages like, let's say these pages, they're like this page is domain.com/men tops, and then there's this one slash men shirts. So there are two URLs on the website competing or trying to rank for the same keyword. Let's say shirt for men. So there's this one keyword that these two URLs trying to rank for, like competing with each other. So what you want to do here is you don't want many pages trying to compete for the same keyword. This is you can keep it as a rule here. Always remember one page per one main keyword per one page. So you have to choose like this keyword should go to which page. Is it this page or this page? You cannot have two pages competing or trying to rank for multiple the same keywords, right? You only want to dedicate one main keyword to one main page. So what we're having a problem here is some of the pages on the website were competing for some of the same keywords. So what we do, we merge them, means we delete some of the pages. Oh, we're not actually deleting, we are 301 redirecting them. So what we did, let's say this is our main page we want to keep, so we delete this page and we do a 301 redirect to this page. So we combine the two pages into one, and this gives more power, right? So instead of dividing them semantically now, so when Google looks at, Google might be confused like whether it's this or this trying to rank for this. So now we're giving Google only one option, so we 301 redirect from this page to this page, essentially merging them or combining them. And this helps, so this, when this combines with this, it transfers all the signals to this page, and now this page itself, the main page we want to keep, has even more power than before. So we also merge some of the pages that were cannibalizing with each other. And lastly, we also no index non-critical pages. So some of the unimportant pages, we don't want to keep them in the index. Like I said, we don't want to keep any unimportant pages index, because if too many of them are there, Google might see your website as being low quality. So we want to keep them out of the index by no indexing them, right? So this is all the technical thing that we did. Mainly we were working on duplicate pages. We also merged some of the old pages into new one, or some of the old into one pages, and we also no index some of the pages as well. And lastly, for the off page is something which we didn't focus much because the client was already having good of it. But I advise him at least to help improve some of the keywords is to get Haro links. So help a reporter out. So you can go to Haro SEO. Actually, you can just type in Haro here. The site is called Help a Reporter Out. If you don't know what is it, it essentially means you can sign up for free as a source, and once you sign up, you get 3 emails every day. No, you get emails 3 times every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. And these emails are coming from journalists asking for some knowledge based on different questions. So they might ask, like how to improve social media as a social media expert, something like that. And then you can give your view to the journalists. If your answers are good enough, they will feature your answers on their website, and they will also link back to you. So this way you will be able to get backlinks from a very high authority website, like from a news website, right, that you cannot really get anywhere else. Or if you can, you have to pay for a very high price for it, right? So I asked him to participate in some of the Haro links, which he got some of them, a few of them. And we also looked into some of PBN as well, right? So PBN is a little bit of gray hat SEO, but we were using them very sparingly across some of the pages that we wanted to, like snipe it up, means we want to boost them up like quickly. So we were only looking to like few of them. But if you're doing it from a clean perspective, then I would advise you go for guest posts better, or link insertions, right? There are many ways you can build backlinks, but mostly we didn't focus much on it. But nevertheless, for any e-commerce SEO, you can use any type of links, just as you would normally do for any other type of SEO. It's pretty much the same here. So yeah, but mostly when it comes to e-commerce SEO, the difference lies like you have to focus more on technical, and on page not so much, but you have to make sure your site structure is clean enough, and you give it a little bit of optimizations. You do a proper on page and of all the categories, as well as the product pages. Make sure the pages are on the right intent. You're not trying to rank for the wrong keyword. And importantly, like when it comes to on page, anything that is on the top is always important. So I would try to optimize something on the top here. And lastly, there's also this Google product review update that was released, and Google, once when update was released, Google also released these guidelines on how to write a good product review page. Although it's not 100% relevant to e-commerce, I highly recommend you read this. I made a case study on this as well, breaking apart of how, what to understand and how to understand each point clearly and how to apply them to your content. So when you write your e-commerce product description, make sure you add some of these points as well, right? So Google is giving you guidelines of how to write good product page content. Some of them, again, like I said, is not going to be relevant to you as you're an e-commerce website, as this is mainly for affiliate type review website, right? But you can obviously include some of them into your strategy as well when you write your content. So that's all for it. Apart from that, once you work on your on page and technical, you have to do off page as well. You can focus on backlinks, you can focus on many other aspects of off page. Make sure you build up a good brand. Like I said, the client is quite well known in his space, so he's already have some good branding going on as well, which helps his overall SEO efforts as well, right? And you can also read the case studies where I maybe maybe talk a little bit more of how I do the on page and everything. But in this video, you should pretty much get all the good ideas of how you would want to apply to your website. So I hope this video is you find this video valuable. It's quite a lengthy one, but I try to give as much value as possible. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and try to answer them as soon as possible. And that's all for it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.